So there's a bunch of weird shit about Mars, and I just want to kind of riff on that for about 10 or 15 minutes. And I wanted to start with there's weird shit about the human being and Mars. From a starting point, I'd like to start with the fact that when our astronauts go into orbit, or when we go into like anywhere that's secluded from the circadian rhythm of the planet and the sun and whatever, we start operating on a 29-hour day. That is a Martian day. I don't know why this is. No one does. But there's a logical theory about it, right? Like Mars used to be habitable. Look at the pictures on the screen. You see those canyons in the far right? The only thing that could have cut that shit's water. You know, uh, you if you know anything about geology and you look at Mars at all, you can tell it used to be habitable. And here's my theory. There's a couple of different asteroid belts in our system that are massive. Uh, these aren't leftover debris from whatever creation of the solar system. I think that those are blown up planets. I don't know exactly what caused that. I'm guessing some sort of interstellar war. I'm thinking this is in prehistory sometime. Like this is before there was even ever life on Earth, probably. So back then, Mars would have been the habitable planet. Earth was probably on the verge of being habitable, starting to be habitable itself. Maybe they were starting to colonize, and maybe there were other habitable planets in the outer ring. Maybe there was some other just place to be. There was some reason why those outer planets got blown up. But if you did blow up planets like that, it could shift the orbits and take Mars into a worse orbit and Earth into a better orbit. That's my theory. And an advanced civilization that had gone to war and blown up planets and shit would have seen this. And I think that's why it looks like life, human life anyway, was seeded on this planet. I think there may be a bunch of different species of aliens and whatever, but like I think there's some sort of effort to continue to keep this planet alive with humans by either someone or something that came from Mars with DNA. And my real theory is the Watchers in the Bible and the Roswell Greys. These are biomechanical beings that were made by this ancient civilization, and they were tasked with making sure a species survived. Basically, they were given a bunch of DNA samples and a bunch of knowledge and a bunch of whatever, but they don't have souls. And like this is why in the Bible, uh, when you hear you know Enoch and shit talk about the Watchers in the book of Enoch, which isn't in the Bible, I guess, but it's related to it. He talks about them having no souls and being, different than us and whatever. I think all of that is pointing to the fact that they are mechanical in some way. And if I had a doomed civilization on Mars because of a fucking interstellar war, but Earth was now, you know, already semi habitable and becoming more habitable because of what had happened in the solar system, I think I would have done this. And I think our moon and the setup of our moon and the relationship to the sun and us is proof that our planet was engineered in some way. And my thing is, could these things have, you know, engineered our entire planet to save a civilization, basically? And that's what we're really doing here. And no one wants to talk about that. But like the goal of human civilization is something. I don't know what that something is, but it seems to be that we are supposed to technologically advance and colonize and spread. That's like the only directive that we were given, basically. Exist and enjoy the fucking land or whatever. Like, I don't understand. This is what makes me think there's a point or purpose to all of this that is, beyond us. And I think it is like Joe Rogan says a lot. We're the fucking caterpillars of the AI world or whatever. I don't think that's entirely true. I think we are at one stage of development and we are going through some shit to go to another stage of development. And I think some people are going to choose to integrate with the machine in that and AI and whatever, but like that's not going to last long. I think this is something that most people don't get, that the human body is the most complex machine on earth. It's capable of things that you have no fucking idea about. In my opinion, everyone that the government says is crazy for various reasons actually has some sort of mental powers that we don't understand, likely. Uh, this shit's been developing for a long time. Maybe I'll do a video on why I think that someday, but it all relates back into all of this shit. And the Nazis were obsessed with Mars. The thing that they were obsessed with was a race of fucking white people that came from the stars or some shit, right? Like, what if that is some racist Nazi propaganda that is on its face true? What if there are tall Nordic blonde fucking aliens that they were talking to or some shit? And what if they came from Mars originally and like they tried interbreeding here a little bit with the monkey population somehow on a scientific level to bring about us, but they also coexist or something and they like maybe live under the ocean or in Antarctica. I don't know. It wouldn't surprise me to learn that aliens look a lot like us. Like, I think most aliens, or at least like a third of all alien species that we might interact with, probably are going to look very similar to us. Not identical, but like descended from similar species of apes that, think Star Trek. I think Star Trek is not that far off from where we're actually headed as far as alien contact and shit. I think whatever it has caused us to come into being, if we assume that it is not an ancient civilization or something like that that was destroyed in our solar system, then this isn't a local phenomenon. These things are everywhere creating fucking civilizations in the stars. We're not alone. And I think a lot of what's going on now is evidence of that. Uh, Other weird shit about Mars is they have a lot of high def fucking pictures of Mars and whatever. And every time we find something that we're like, oh, that's unusual, it's never photographed again. At least not officially. Like some things like the face on Mars, they took pictures of or whatever, but I think that was a bullshit one. The thing that I'm interested in on Mars and like the moons of Mars, especially Phobos, uh, are monoliths and fucking pyramids and stone architecture that's on a massive mega scale that's covered by 20,000 years of sand and erosion. This is the shit that I want to see on the moons of Mars and Mars itself and various other places in our solar system. I think some of the moons of Jupiter probably have this shit too. I really think the civilization that built the pyramids on Earth probably spanned our galaxy our solar system at least, if not was probably interstellar. And if that's the case, how many other civilizations have fucking been spawned by these people? The Sumerians talked about the Anunnaki, gods from space that seeded life. And the crazy part is, They were supposed to be on a planet in a 10,000-year elliptical orbit, and now they're saying they think that that planet, the ninth planet, exists, and some people think that it's coming back in close to orbit again, like it's not out far. And that's why a lot of shift is shifting on the Earth, is because this giant supermassive planet comes through our solar system once every 10,000 years. I don't know about that, but there's a lot of weird shit about our solar system and Mars in particular. I think there are a lot of answers on Mars. I think that's why people like Elon Musk and Werner von Braun are in such a hurry to get there. I don't know why all of the smartest people in the world are obsessed with going to Mars, but I'm guessing that if I got in a room with Werner von Braun and Elon Musk and a few of the other people that want to go to Mars, and I asked them why they wanted to go to Mars with no cameras on, they would tell you some shit like what I just told you here. Very, very smart people with a lot of money believe some of the same shit that I believe. I know because I've spoken with them about it. They don't talk about it in public because I sound like I'm crazy half the time, right? That's because I don't care. Okay, they care, so they don't say anything, but they think a lot of this shit, and it informs what they do. And you can tell with Elon Musk, especially, that he and I think a lot of the same shit just by what he does. Building the electric car thing, like I want to build electric cars so bad. I don't build electric cars because I have other shit to do with my life. A and B, in reality, it's a way to control you. There's no way to build an electric car that they wouldn't have some sort of way to hack and turn off. And like all cars are really that way now, but like at least if you built like a gas engine powered fucking go-kart with Lexan fucking windows or something, they can't turn that off. And maybe you could build like the electric version of that. But even then I would be worried about somehow it being susceptible to their bullshit. That's why I don't build electric cars. And then you look at the Starlink thing. That is just to free people up to go wherever they want. Some of these things are just things that he wants himself, but you can tell how he is by what he wants himself. You know, I think that's kind of cool, and I'm glad there's at least one or two fucking rich fucks in this world that like get it. Like when I see Elon Musk, I see someone that gets it to some level. Like he's, you know, not very many people in the world that have billions of dollars actually learned the most important lesson about money. Elon Musk has. And it's basically this. It doesn't matter how much money you have if you're not happy. And you have to be happy in order for the money to matter. And that's the thing that most people just do not get, and that you can't buy happiness. And like I can tell by some of the things he's doing in his life that he's going after happiness now, not money. And like that's exactly how you should be. Money, in reality, you need a certain amount of it, but like having a gigantic mansion does not bring happiness. Filling your giant mansion full of cool stuff doesn't bring you happiness. The only thing that brings you happiness is weapons and copious amounts of ammunition. Kidding. Although that does help. I would say love and spending good time with good people in good places, especially nature. Like, I really see very little value in any world built by the modern world. And my thing is with that is like, why would you want $1 million McMansion that you can spit and hit your neighbor? If I'm spending $1 million for something, I want land and multiple buildings and whatever. And that's just me. Maybe that's not everybody, I've found in my own life that if I have fewer things that are nicer, I appreciate them more. I like them more. And like some things you buy the cheap version of because like there's no reason to get the nice one. Like the Cold Steel Bushman is a perfect example of this. You could make a $500 version of that. The fucking $20 one is still cool because it works. There's no reason for it to be any better than what it is. The other thing I wonder about on Mars is if we have found technology here on Earth in some of these ancient structures and the government is keeping it hidden, which it seems they are, the honey hole of honey holes is probably Mars. If that was the old planet, that would be like the capital of the civilization. Who knows what tech is sitting there? Um, and like I said, there could be an entire, like, that whole planet could be city. We don't know. We don't know because we haven't actually set foot there. And, like, if it is, it's buried under 10,000 plus years of erosion and sand. Think about, like, shit buried in the Sahara. Egypt was almost completely buried. Like what you think of as ancient Egypt. We dug all that shit out. Mars has more intense weather than the Sahara by a lot. So there could be almost anything there. And I think that's cool. What do you think about Mars? Do you think we were there? What do you think about Elon Musk or anything else I said? Let me know. Leave me comments. Thanks for watching. Oh, and hit me up on Patreon. I'm doing that again. I'm going to be doing a Q&A video and taking questions from $5 patrons. So I don't know when I'm going to do that, but sometime this month. I'll see you guys later.